Apple just updated its iPad Air with the powerful M3 chip, all while keeping the same price, which is great news. But is that one more reason to get the cheaper Air, or is the iPad Pro still the one you should go for? Well, as always with Apple, there are tons of little features and traps that the company has set up to convince users to spend that extra cash and buy the Pro. Should you really do it? Before we dive into that, let's first break down the price difference because it is significant. Both the Air and the Pro are available in a smaller 11-inch size, which we have here for the Air, and the bigger 13-inch size, which we have for the Pro. The bigger size is more popular and for a good reason. With a keyboard, it turns into a very capable laptop replacement, while the 11-incher is just a bit too small for that. The 13-inch Air costs $800, while the same size Pro model goes for $1,300. That's an insane price difference right out the gate, $500 more for the Pro model. And if you still want the more compact and lighter 11-inch version, then the prices are thankfully a bit lower. It's $600 for the Air and $1,000 for the Pro. So for that size, it's a $400 price difference, which is a bit more palatable. But what are you really getting for all of that extra cash for the Pro model? Now, if I had to boil it down to just two things, it would be this: display quality and ProMotion. The iPad Pro comes with a tandem OLED screen, which can reach an insane 1000 nits of brightness, while the Air has 500 nits. This is the same number as the MacBook Air, by the way. And 500 nits is definitely not bad, but if you want to work outdoors, you really appreciate the extra brightness of the iPad Pro model. However, if you only use your iPad indoors, you probably shouldn't care about this at all. The iPad Pro also uses OLED screen, while the Air has LCD, which is the older technology, and that means that colors just pop more. You have more vibrant colors, deeper blacks, deeper contrast on the iPad Pro. It just looks like a better screen. And finally, you have ProMotion. 120 Hz on the iPad Pro is just buttery smooth for scrolling, and that looks real nice. I am really sensitive to this, but to be honest, I notice it a lot more on a phone, but not so much on a tablet. Still, it's a very nice extra. Okay, it's not just about the display though. The iPad Pro also has 4 speakers that create a loud and immersive sound that really impresses. The iPad Air has 2 speakers, which are fine, but nothing more than that. You also have the difference in processors, so it's M4 on the Pro, M3 on the Air, and we have to say that these are the base models of the chips. There is no M4 Pro version or M4 Max here as you get on MacBooks, for example. So here are the benchmarks, and you can definitely see that the Pro scores much higher numbers, both for CPU performance and GPU performance. But the big question is, should you really care? If you only use your iPads to browse the web, write text, do simple photo and video edits, absolutely not. Both of those chips are way overqualified for those tasks. Both will feel fine and zippy. If you want to do complex video editing or to play demanding games, then you might notice the difference. But even then, yeah, I know some people who edit videos on an iPad, but if you want to keep your sanity, you'd better do this on a Mac or a Windows PC. And playing games on an iPad is also not the most popular platform out there. You also don't have proper multitasking with iPadOS, you're only limited to Stage Manager, and you can just be a lot more productive on a real laptop or a PC. So there's that. We also never mentioned the slight design difference. The Pro model is a bit lighter. It's really strong magnets. It's a bit lighter at 444 grams versus 460 on the Air, and it is razor thin at just 5.3 millimeters, while the Air model is 6.1 millimeters. Both are thin. The Pro model is just extra light and thin. But again, that's cool, but do you really care about such a small difference? I know I personally don't. What is nice to see is Face ID on the Pro model, which is way more intuitive than reaching and trying to find that always awkwardly positioned button for Touch ID on the iPad Air. I really much prefer having Face ID. And Apple obviously knows this because this is one of those little traps it sets for users trying to push them, nudge them towards the Pro model. And we also have to say that it really sucks that the same sized iPad Pro and Air models require different keyboards. And both of these keyboards, let me say it, cost an insane amount of money. Here are the prices for each keyboard. And spending more than $300 on a keyboard is just such a typical Apple absurdity that it makes me so mad. But at least for this kind of money, you're getting good quality keyboard. It would be strange if it would be otherwise. You have keys with nice travel, you have a function roll now, so these are a lot more functional. You have a bigger trackpad, which is also nice. One difference is that the keyboard on the Air is rubberized, while we have a metal keyboard on the Pro model. Now, at least both of these support the same pencils. It's either the Apple Pencil Pro or the regular Apple Pencil with USB-C. But with all this, we once again come to the calculus for what most people would be buying. And I mean, the bigger model, that's what most people would be buying. A 13-inch iPad Air with a Magic Keyboard costs more than $1,100, while a 13-inch iPad Pro with a keyboard goes for, wait for it, over $1,600. And we're talking about the base models, and that just means only 128 gigs of storage on the Air and 256 gigabytes for the Pro model. That's not a lot of storage. In a world where you can get a 13-inch MacBook Air M4, which has the more capable macOS for $1,000, I find both of these to be absurdly priced. Of course, some people swear by an iPad and the touchscreen and the portability and everything else. If you're wondering which one to buy, I'd strongly recommend the iPad Air for most people. It's the better value. But if you really push that iPad to its maximum and want the best experience, the Pro is your only option, and Apple will charge you for it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.